Assalamu alaikum and hello everyone. In our last session, we discovered that assessment goes far beyond just exams and grades. It is a vital instrument that guides both educators and learners in identifying strengths as well as areas needing improvement. Employing a variety of assessment methods, enhancing the overall learning experiences, making it more impactful and meaningful for everyone involved. Today, we will explore several key themes including diverse assessment tools, student-centered strategies, maintaining assessment quality, interpreting assessment data, and effectively communicating results. I'm truly eager to explore deeper into these essential subjects with you, aiming to broaden our understanding and improve the ways assessments support and enhance learning outcomes. Together, we can build a more effective approach to assessment that benefits both teaching and student growth. Let's get started. Assessment tools. Assessment tools have a whole toolkit to measure student progress and development. Observation. Carefully watching how a student works and interacts in a real time during lessons and activities. Anecdotal records. Writing down key incidents, behaviors, or moments that highlight learning or challenges. Checklist. Systematically tracking specific skills or behaviors to ensure nothing is missed. Student work reviewing assignments, essays, projects, and other tangible evidence of learning. Portfolios. Compiling a collection of work completed over time that shows growth and improvement. Rating scales. Measuring the quality or level of performance on a defined scale, such as from beginner to advanced. Testing. Conducting formal exams to assess knowledge and understanding. Diagnostic test. Administering pre-teaching assessments to identify learning gaps and tailor instruction. For example, in a typical classroom setting, imagine a teacher observing a student actively participating in a group science project. The teacher notes how the student contributes original ideas, collaborates effectively with peers, and handles any challenges that arise during the activity. Alongside this, the teacher carefully reviews the student's project work, uses a detailed checklist to ensure all key skills are demonstrated, and refers to past work in the student's portfolio to monitor growth over term. When it's time for formal assessment, the teacher administers tests to evaluate students but balances these results with ongoing observation and anecdotal notes to create a comprehensive picture of the student's learning journey. However, assessment is not just about what teachers do, it is also about involving the learners themselves. This brings us to student-focused approaches, where students become active participants in their own learning journey by reflecting on their progress and setting meaningful goals for improvement. Student-focused approaches. Here, students are not just passive recipients, they are active participants. Interviews. Direct conversation about their learning experiences. Questioning. Open-ended questions to spark critical thinking. Self-assessment. Students reflect on their own work. Peer assessment. Students give constructive feedback to each other. These approaches build confidence, self-awareness, and ownership of learning. In a real classroom, Mrs. Lee asked her students to work on a history project about ancient civilization. After completing their presentations, she interviewed each student to learn about their experiences, asking questions like, what part did you enjoy the most? And which part was difficult? This helps students clear their thoughts and reflects on their learning. Next, Mrs. Lee encouraged self-assessment by giving students a checklist to evaluate their own presentation, focuses on clarity, content, and confidence. Then students participated in peer assessment, where they watched each other's presentation and provided constructive feedback, such as suggesting clearer explanations or more engaging visuals. This process allowed students to learn from one another and improve their skills. By actively engaging through interviews, self-assessment, and peer feedback, students built confidence, deepened their understanding, and took real ownership of their learning. By empowering students to take charge of their own learning, we lay a strong foundation for meaningful assessment. For these assessments to truly support learning and improvement, they must also meet key standards of quality, ensuring quality in assessment. For assessment to be meaningful, it must be reliable, gives consistent results, valid, actually measures what it's meant to, fair, free from biasness, culturally sensitive, aligned, matches curriculum goal, transparent, clear criteria, often with rubrics. If an assessment is like a scale, then reliability is making sure it always shows the same weight for the same object, and validity is making sure it's measuring weight, not height. In a real life classroom, consider a grade 5 writing assessment. The teacher uses a rubric that outlines expectations for grammar, structure, and creativity. Transparency. The rubric is shared with students beforehand, so they know how they will be evaluated. The same rubric is applied across all the students' reliability, and it's especially on writing skills, not unrelated content knowledge, validity. It avoids language that might confuse English language learners, ensuring fairness. Lastly, the assignment directly supports the curriculum outcome. Writing a persuasive paragraph, alignment. Once assessments are designed with quality in mind, the next step is making sense of the results. Interpreting assessment data effectively helps teachers understand student progress and make informed decisions. Using assessment data can be interpreted in different ways. Norm referenced compares a student to peers. Criterion referenced compares performance to a standard. Curriculum based compares to the current curriculum's goals. Epassive compares the student to their past performance. Each has its strengths and limitations. So a good teacher often uses a combination. Let me illustrate this with a real classroom example. In Miss Johnson's 5th grade class, a reading test showed Jason was below average and had not met grade level benchmarks. However, his epassive data revealed in 12% improvement, Since his last test, he struggled with interference questions, a key goal. Miss Johnson explains his progress and challenges to his parents, then created a targeted intervention focusing on inference, using the data to support growth rather than just evaluation. Understanding assessment data is only half the journey. What truly makes it impactful is how we communicate those insights. Clear, purposeful reporting ensures that everyone involved can take meaningful actions reporting assessment results. Assessment is only powerful if the results are communicated well. We report to students actionable feedback, parents clear jargon-free updates, teachers to adjust strategies, school psychologists for deeper student support, administrators to guide school policies, employers and government for workforce readiness and policy decisions. The golden rule: reporting should promote growth, not just label performance. In a fourth grade reading class, the teacher administers a comprehension quiz after a novel study. She provides each student with specific feedback like, "You understood the main ideas well, but need to work on making interferences from the text." This actionable feedback helps students focus on particular skills during reading practice. For parents, she sends clear, accessible, language-free notes explaining progress, such as, "Your child is improving in understanding story details, but should practice summarizing chapters at home." This encourages family support without confusion. Teachers share results in team meetings to plan targeted reading interventions. When a student shows consistent difficulty, the school psychologist is consulted to explore possible reading challenges or learning differences. The principal reviews class-wide data to decide if additional reading resources or programs are needed. District officials also use the coded results to shape reading curriculum improvements. The emphasis is on using assessment results to support growth and deeper comprehension, not just to assign grades. So, to wrap up, assessment is not just about marks or grades. It is a living, breathing process that helps teachers teach better, students learn better, and education system improves over time. As future educators, psychologists, or learning professionals, your role is to make assessment a bridge, not a barrier, something that connects students to their potential. Thank you for your attention, and as always, keep connecting theory with real life. That's where the real learning happens. Until then, take care, keep reflecting on what you have learned, and keep growing. Thank you so much for joining me today. See you next time. Assalamu alaikum and goodbye for now.